Welcome to the HerStory Circle podcast, the podcast that brings you the extraordinary tales of everyday women who are changing the world. I'm your host, Gertrude Mache, and I'd like to acknowledge traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today. I also like to pay my respects to elders, past, present, and emerging. Every week, we dive into the lives, challenges, and triumphs of women from all four corners of the globe. We're here to inspire, enlighten, and connect, sharing stories that uplift and empower. So grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and join us as we explore the incredible journeys of women shaping our future. This is Her Story, where every woman's voice matters. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Her Story Circle. This is Gertrude Mache here in beautiful Melbourne, Australia. And today I am graced with the presence of yet another fascinating woman. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our tribe. Please tell everybody your full name, where you're based, and share your story with us today.
I'm based out of Memphis, Tennessee. And just my story is about really just finding your place in the world, really figuring out how to show up as you in every space that you're in. And so I would say that my journey started with college. You know, you get to school, you know exactly what you're going to do until you don't. And I would like for you guys to just kind of take a walk with me. Um, a freshman, I'm 18. I know exactly what I'm doing. And I take a class that is not actually for freshmen. I'm coming into school thinking I'm going to go pre med, and then this class takes me to a whole nother direction. And so it had me questioning some things like, okay, well, is this really what I'm supposed to be doing? What am I here for? All of that good stuff. And just kind of contemplating, reflecting, sitting with myself just to see exactly, what I need to do. And then my advisor comes to me and she's like, hey, I need to have a conversation with you about where you where you're going, right? And so um, I am talking to her. She's sharing some things with me, and she's just kind of like, I recognize that you're here for pre med, but it's not really working out how you think. Psychology actually aligns with who you are a lot better than where you are right now on this pre med track. And so, unbeknownst to her, that was confirmation of what I had already been thinking, and actually with what has always been a thing for me. Being able to reach out and connect with people, talk to people, encourage people. And so I declared my major as psychology at that point. But in me, it helped me understand like, okay, there are some things that just naturally stand out about you. You should probably stop running from those things. And oftentimes, I'm sure, in your 18-year-old mind or anyone's 18-year-old mind, they know everything. And being knocked off of track for what you think you know can be hard. So, like I said, I declared psychology as my major and kept it moving from there. Graduated from school. I was in school in Virginia at the time, and I wanted to be closer to family. I moved to Tennessee, and that was yet another adjustment. Um, Grad school was easy breezy, didn't have any problem with the grade side of things, but it was a change for several reasons. The tribe that I had created in Virginia, the encouraging and supportive space that I had created in Virginia, was no more. Like they were not present every day. This is the first time that I can say that I had acknowledged, like, oh, okay, so this is what depression feels like. This is different for me. It's not something I've ever experienced. But it wasn't just because I hadn't been with family or friends as I had been every day. It was the first time I was hearing things like, "Oh, you have too much experience," and I'm like, I would like to get a job. It's enough experience. It's not enough, excuse me, experience for my career, but it's too much experience for a regular job. And I'm like, I just need a job. It's the first time that I had not worked in a long time. I have been working for a very long time. So to have no job, be away from my support system, all of this was a major change. So I'm having to adjust again from what I understand to be my basis. And so just kind of pulling from core things that create the person that I am, I would absolutely say this is where I began to understand the concepts of what made me me, right? Like the ability to be able to be free. Um, Finances provide freedom for sure, but how you think about things also creates a space of freedom. And so having to push myself and do it on my own, although a very independent person, having that sounding board, having that encouragement, or that push, that uh, just the village approach, and going from that to not having it at all was very different until I found my people in Nashville as well. And from there, that experience became a lot better than what it initially was. And so in that very moment, I was able to pull like, okay, freedom is something that's very important to me. And I guess I can't say that I took it for granted before, but I think that it was just something that was so much a part of who I was that I didn't really slow down to smell the roses per se, and understanding like everybody doesn't really have the capacity to be free in their thinking or in just being whoever they are, wherever they are, and comfortable in doing so. And I think it was in that moment that I was able to understand like this is something that other people should experience, right? Like this is something that is very, very important to me. Um, Experiencing the transition in my thinking with being depressed, although it didn't look like that on the outside, with the exception of me gaining weight. But although it didn't look like that on the outside, and I'm still my bubbly self, I knew that I slept way more than I normally did. I knew that I wasn't as active as I normally would be. I still talked to friends and I was still able to get that support, but it just was different. And so, pulling from the value of freedom, I understood things like respect is also a core value that helped push me along through some of these tumultuous times. Respect is very, very important. And so, understanding, like, okay, even in respecting myself, like, I got to get up, I got to get back to my routine. And so, it was in that moment that I was able to get back on track, get back into a routine thanks to this new village that I have. And so now I have a village from undergrad, I have a village from grad school, people here and there along the way. Um, and it creates a space where I'm able to just share that although you're in like changes, tumultuous places, new spaces, even within your thinking, it's very, very important to ground yourself with things that you know to be beneficial to you. Sometimes you have to step outside your norm, which means you are uncomfortable, but it definitely pushes you to a space where you have to learn something new about yourself. You have to lose something sometimes to gain some ground. And so, with that, I was able to finish grad school and kind of figure out okay, which way is next. Um, Initially, going to get my PhD was the plan. That is absolutely not where I landed at all. And in retrospect, I'm glad that I did not because some of the amazing people that I've met along the way, I would not have met them. And so, um, different life experiences have opened me up to being able to connect with more and more people, different people. And it gives me a chance to share yet again the message of freedom and respect. And so, um, just being in the space where I've had so many transitions and often um, working with women, but also working with men and understanding that life's ebbs and flows are just a normal part of life. Having my own experiences allows me to connect with other people on a more genuine level. And that is very, very important to me because it makes work much more personable and more fun because I get to be me. But also,
Oh,
it
yeah.
allows other people to be themselves so we really can get to the core of whatever issues they've come to me for in therapy. And so, as a therapist, which I often do not tell people that I am because oftentimes people think, oh, well, you're analyzing me. And I'm like, no, I'm actually off. I'm having a good time with my own people, but I'm getting into a place now where I can say that and set the boundary between myself and work, which is yet another transition. I am definitely the person that hides all the time. So being on camera or share my profession definitely is not my thing. Like if I can do all of the work behind the scenes, I will set other people up to win every time. But if you ask me to jump in front of the camera, I am very, very reluctant. Very, very
So
reluctant.
let's unpack your story here. You have had so many transitions and ways that you've reinvented yourself multiple times.
Yes.
Take us back to that moment in your dorm room. What happened internally? What happened for you internally that you didn't get yet have the words to express so you could make that shift?
I think that actually was probably I've always been a very independent person. But I think that was the moment where I really stepped into like young adulthood independence. Like I was pushed to make a decision on my own because I didn't have that conversation with my parents. I knew, whatever I did, they would be okay with it. So this is where I had the moment to really make a decision on my own. And granted, I had the conversation with my advisor, but this was where I really got the liberty to step into my own decision making and run with it. And so, whatever happened, good or bad. And so I think it was just an empowering moment, although confusing from the beginning and, somewhat making me question or doubtful, like of myself and my abilities. Then it was just kind of that moment that was like snapback. Like you literally have these key things that are empowering about you. So I think it was that moment where I was able to step into an empowered, I guess you could say, in independence.
I love it. Now, you were on a clear path towards medicine.
Mhm.
What did it cost you internally to admit that that path was no longer the right fit?
Um, I actually have never, I didn't even think of it that way. I didn't even consider it like I lost anything. It just was a transition. It was a pivot for me.
Yeah,
I did, I don't know if it didn't feel like I lost anything because I was stepping into something that I was so sure of within myself. I don't know if it was that maybe because I never considered it a loss. It was just like, on to the next thing. And I don't know if that's just 18-year-old thinking anyway, where it's like, oh, well, whatever. Like, I don't know if it was that, but I don't feel like I took any shorts. I just kept it moving.
I love it. So, when you chose psychology, what
Mhm.
part of you did you feel was fine? You were finally honoring.
Innately who I am. People talk to me all the time, like random people at the grocery store. It don't matter. I literally, people talk to me all the time, and so oftentimes I hear, you make me feel so comfortable. Thank you for not judging me. And I'm like, I'm just having a conversation. Like, this is just naturally who I am. So I think choosing psychology really did let me be me. There's no, yes, there are rules, obviously, there's ethics that we have to follow, but being a private practice owner allows me flexibility in a whole bunch of things. So I get to show up for family, which is important for me. I get to travel, which I absolutely love, and then I get to help people. So it's a combination of me, and I get to do it every day.
And it's interesting that what was your natural strength became your vocation. A lot of people don't know how to find the right profession.
Yeah.
You had an inkling that there was something in you that made people trust you, feel comfortable with you,
Yeah.
and then you landed on your feet with the right profession. Now, moving to Tennessee was a turning point.
Hmm.
What did loneliness teach you about yourself?
Um, that's a really good question, actually. I would say that it taught me that I actually am stronger than I thought, maybe.
Mhm.
But definitely it shined a light on just how solid of a village that I have and why having a village is so important. Um, Even though I knew that, sometimes it's one of those things that it's like, hey, just in case you forgot, like it's not just you, but it is you, right? So having the resources or the people to encourage you, but still leave you autonomous is I would say probably what I took away from that.
Yeah, yeah. Now, you've experienced depression for the first time during that season.
Mhm.
How did that change your relationship with strength?
Um, it so I'm already a very reflective person anyway, but it taught me to share my reflections with other people. I'm
Mhm.
comfortable sharing certain things with certain people.
Right.
It's not too much I don't share with my mom. So she's definitely, because she was the person that was like, hey girl, we need you to get up and start running because what are we doing?
Right.
um, and I didn't take it personally because when I saw a picture of myself and I was like, where did I get to what? And it wasn't even that I was like huge, but I was bigger than I had ever been for myself. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, no, this can't be a thing. And so um that definitely was a time that showed me like, okay, here are the things that are important to me. Here are the things that help me thrive or make me feel my best. Being away from those things can be damaging, but it
Yeah.
also gave me the skill set to navigate those spaces should I ever be in those spaces again.
I love that. Now, many women feel ashamed when life doesn't unfold easily. What would you say to the woman who's quietly struggling right now?
I would say, take your time,
Mm.
literally. There is, yes, life is short, but there is so much life to live, even in a short period of time. And so the idea of supposed to, actually the term like you're supposed to do this or you're supposed, like, that drives me crazy actually. Because I've always felt like, who said you're supposed to do it this way, or why does
Yeah.
it have to, supposed to for somebody else may not look the same from my life. And so I
Yeah.
think it taking a moment to really realize what your strengths are, what your playing field is, what
Yes.
things matter to you, allow you to quiet the outside noise and
Mhm.
really focus on where you want to be or where you need to be based on what feels good to you, what's the most beneficial to you. And even for women with families, yes, you have to account for other people, but
Mhm.
if you don't account for yourself first, sometimes
Yeah,
the other people take the brunt of that. And so it's, if you slow down and take into account like what it is you're truly needing, I think that helps you get to whatever the next place you need to be.
yeah.
Quiet the noise by leaving the supposed to for somebody else to say, and focus on what you feel is needed for you.
Now, when we first spoke, you talked about being yourself in every space.
Mhm.
What does being yourself in every space actually look like in real messy life?
So it can be a plethora of things, right? So I've had people tell me like, "Oh, you're a little too aggressive," or whatever. I've had people be intimidated by me, but I'm just very sure. Like when I know something, I know something. I'm going
Yes.
to express that. I've had people say like, "You don't have to be so, like." It's like you're so angry, and I'm like, no, I'm just passionate. You know what I mean? Like who I am is who I am. It comes through, however, and I don't. If you know me, you know I don't mean no harm. If I'm talking real fast or I'm moving my hands or any of that kind, it doesn't mean
It's
anything.
just how
It's
you express yourself.
Exactly. I'm very expressive. And so I come from a large family, first of all. So there's a lot of talking, there's a lot of loud, there's a lot of all the things. And so I can, change that to assimilate to different environments. But I think being able to be versatile to go into different environments is helpful too. Being put into different environments helps me to acquiesce to the different things that are needed in the environment. So being put as a kid at a formal dinner setting was, oh, no kid wants to do that. But in retrospect, I can appreciate my mom for doing that because as an adult who has to go to those kind of things, now I am accustomed to those type of environments. I feel comfortable in those environments, and I've learned how to enmesh who I am with those spaces. So I don't
Yeah.
feel like I have to be like the people in those spaces, but I
Yes.
also can do whatever those customs or whatever those traditions are in those spaces. So I think it's
Mm.
just exposure allows you to learn who you are in different places and show
Yes.
up as some form of that.
So, how did learning to trust your intuition change the way that you make decisions now?
I'm actually still fine tuning that. Sometimes I don't listen to myself. I would say this year has shown that more than anything. Like, yeah, there's been moments where I was like, oh, I was right. I should listen to me. So there's still some fine tuning with that. But I will say, it's I think having the confirmation of decisions made that were good helps me
Right.
feel comfortable in continuing to listen to my intuition. In those
Right.
moments where I was off or I didn't listen, it's reaffirming to myself to be like, okay, so you really do know what you are doing.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need a sounding board, sometimes you need some guidance, but you really can trust yourself because you haven't led you astray thus far, right? Like there's decisions that you've made that they may have put you in hot water, but you always found your way back. So
Yeah.
in that moment, it just, to me, I take it as it's just a part of life. I wouldn't have learned whatever the hot water had for me if I didn't go that direction. So I think I just kind of take the good with the bad a lot of times and roll with it, whatever it is.
I love it. Now, visibility, you said, hasn't always been comfortable for you. What
No.
finally made you say yes to being seen?
So for business purposes, That is absolutely the first and sole reason that I was like, okay, I guess I could push myself out of my comfort zone and be in front of the camera. I've had some moments here and there where along the way I was put in those spaces to be in front of the camera, but it definitely was not my choice ever. Like,
Right.
so in order to grow my business and to get to the next place of where I would like to be in my business, I knew I couldn't hide. I just couldn't hide. And I feel like I have a message that can be shared with other women and I can connect with other women just being who I am, that would allow someone else to experience the freedom, the joy, the happiness, the life fulfillment, or whatever they're shooting for. I feel like
Right.
I would be able to connect with them, but I can't do it just sitting in my house. Right. And
No.
everybody don't live in Tennessee. Everybody, doesn't live in America. And so I would like to be able to touch other people everywhere. And I can't always get on a plane,
No.
although I would much rather do that. But sometimes you have to get a more direct connection
Yeah.
as quickly as possible. And so I knew I had to step out of my comfort zone.
And now with the internet, we're speaking, I'm sitting here in Melbourne, Australia, you're in the US.
Yes,
The internet has really flattened the world in terms
yes,
of visibility for women.
yes.
And the more we use it, the more power we have, the more women we reach. Really using the technology to our best is a smart thing to do.
Mhm.
Now, how do you reconcile fear with faith when stepping into the unknown?
So I'm a risk taker. I'm just like, once I sign my name on the dotted line for whatever it is, once I make a decision to do something, I'm going for it, good, bad, and
Right.
indifferent. And so I commit to whatever that it is. And so yes, along the way, I may be like, oh Lord, I don't know what is going on. I don't know what I'm doing. But I think the confidence in knowing that I have a lot of tools in my toolbox, whether they be coping skills, whether it be just quick witted thinking, whatever the case may be. And then I think also having the, I guess, plan C of it all, to know that I have resources that I can reach out, whether it's people, whether it's experiences that I can pull from. I feel confident to keep going in whatever the thing is. And being able to know where the exit sign is, not just in the room, but literally in situations. As long as I can see the exit sign, whatever that may be, however, I'm gonna come up with a plan to get up out of whatever it is. So I think
Yeah.
having that going into situations, I feel like whatever's clever. I'm open for whatever.
Love. So, what patterns do you see in women who come to you for support?
A lot of women struggle to really identify who they are just
Yeah.
as women, right? So, not the role that they play in everyday life. So, not a mom, not a wife, not a CEO of a company, really just as who they are as women. And I think a lot of times, because life throws so much at us so quickly, it's very rare that
Yeah.
we sit down and reflect on who we are. And so at different stages of life, not knowing who you are can be problematic. And so I
Yes.
see that. I see women who struggle with being confident to say who they are because they don't want it to be perceived in a negative fashion. And then I see women who are just trying to figure it out, right? Like maybe they didn't have enough resources or support, and so they're just trying to figure it out. So the need for validation, just to know that like they are enough or they can trust themselves, they're on the right track, is a lot of what I see.
Oh, I love that. So, if a woman feels like her life has gone off script,
Mhm.
what's the first question that she should ask herself?
who's and literally the first question that comes to mind, if you were a client and you came to me and said that, my very first question would be, whose script are you following? And I
Okay.
say that because this goes back to the supposed to idea. Do you feel like you've gone off track because it's what you're supposed to be doing, or do you feel like you've gone off track because you really have stepped away from whatever plans you made for yourself, whatever goals you set for yourself?
Right.
If it's the idea, well, I was always supposed to do blah 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 blah. Okay, well, I need to figure out this supposed to. Who told you you're supposed to do this? Why is this the thing? Is this the thing because this is what everybody else does in your family? Okay, well, if you don't do this thing, then what does that mean for you? That kind of thing. But if you know that you strayed away from whatever goals you have set for yourself, and you know it's the best setup for you, at that point, I would want to know why. What made you step away from the thing that you planned to get to your most successful or fulfilling moment in life?
Yes. That's interesting. Now I'm going to end the podcast with two questions that are a bit of a thought experiment.
Okay.
In the first one, I'm going to teleport you back to the younger you,
Okay.
the young woman who found herself at a crossroads, having to decide whether to go left or to go right. If you could go back and give yourself three nuggets of wisdom based on what life has taught you up until this point, what would those three nuggets of wisdom be?
Um, hmm. I would say the three nuggets of wisdom that I would have for myself is, um, I don't know, keep going, um, but slow down. Keep going, but slow down. Um, Definitely. Sometimes being laser focused is really what I was, still am sometimes. And I know that there were some things that I missed along the way, just being zoned into what my goal was. Um, I would say, it probably is why I feel so strongly about the idea of supposed to. Um, don't hold so tight to whatever the plan is, right? Create some flexibility in that plan. Yes, I've always heard to have a plan B, but sometimes plan C, D, E, if it may be a 1A in there, like it may be all of those things. And so just kind of creating flexibility within whatever your plans are. And then, hmm, it's okay to just be, really, like, just be still, be quiet, it's okay to just be. Although I say keep going, you don't always have to go. um I would say it's probably the three nuggets.
I like that last one because magic is found in the stillness of things sometimes, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Not constantly doing, just being still is something we need to learn to tune into. I absolutely love that. Great
Yeah.
reminder. Last question, I'm going to teleport you into the future this time. And you are going to go and have a conversation with a 90-year-old you.
Okay.
She's sitting in her rocking chair, surrounded by her children, her family, her dogs, her cats, whoever's with you at the end.
Okay.
If we teleport to go and meet this wise woman who has led you up until this point, what will you say to her when you finally meet her?
I would say, girl, good job. Like, good job, because life is hard enough. And I actually, I don't, as reflective as I am, because I'm always striving for the next thing, it's very rare that I slow down and I take into account like really how much I have accomplished. Um, it's very awkward for me to talk about me. And so even talking about my accomplishments is like it's I don't know. It's just weird to me. It's just a thing. Like it's a thing that you do. It's not. I don't know. I don't really look at it, I guess, as other people see it. And so I would say to myself at 90, good job. Like great work for sticking life out and actually living it on your own terms. Great job.
I love what you said there. A lot of times as women, we don't reflect back on how far we've come. I now do it as a practice. Like I was trying to buy an apartment just before Christmas and things were going wrong and I didn't have
Yeah.
enough money. And I kept thinking, I've achieved things in life that defy gravity, that don't make any sense. And
Yep.
the creator has been by my side every step of the way. So I just started writing everything down, right? Reflecting back how far I've come. The minute I did that, something happened. I got a new client, the money showed up. It's the way of our own vision and our own dreams, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, is there anything else I should have asked you and I didn't?
Um, Actually, you came with some very and actually thought-provoking questions, things that I'm like, okay, so I have something else to ponder on when I get off of here. um, there's no, I don't think
So
there's
this was a
anything that's
very
missing.
thorough interview by the sound of it. That makes me happy.
Yeah, like I don't think I don't think there's anything that's missing. Maybe viewers will be like, "No, you should have asked or you should have did," but I can't think of anything. Um, yeah.
No, thank you so much for coming online and sharing your knowledge, your story, your wisdom with our community today. I really
Thank you
appreciate
for
it.
having me.
And thank you to everybody who tuned in. The Her Story Circle is not just a podcast. We're a social impact movement that brings you the stories and voices of women from all over the world. We share these stories to uplift you, to inspire you, to energize you, but most importantly, to help take you from where you are now to where you're trying to go. The fact that we're having this amazing woman sharing her story with us at the end of the year is not a coincidence. So if you are a woman who is ready to make that change, who's ready to rediscover yourself and you're needing some support and help, I have her website at the bottom of the screen, elevateaspirationscc.com. Go onto her website, reach out and get the help that you need. Or if you know another woman who's feeling stuck, who's wanting to change, who's wanting to move, please share this podcast, spread it on your social media, tag your friends, your colleagues, your families, and help somebody else get the help that they need as well. So I'm going to be back again tomorrow, everybody, with yet another amazing guest. In the meantime, have a fantastic day, morning, or evening, wherever you are in the world. And bye for now. And thank you again, Brenita, for this interview.
Thank you for having me.
Bye for now, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning into the Her Story Circle podcast. I hope today's story has inspired you to believe in the power of our stories and the difference you can make in the world when you use your voice. I'm Gertrude Mache, and it's been an honor to share this space with you, where voices from all walks of life come together to weave a rich tapestry of diverse perspectives. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review our podcast to help us share these stories with more listeners. Follow us on social media by looking for the Her Story Circle podcast for more updates. And join us tomorrow for another episode filled with courage, resilience, and empowerment. Remember, your story matters, and together we're building a stronger, more inclusive world. Until next time, keep making her story. Thank you.